Welcome back. I'm going to start on this today. First thing we need to do is give the front a bit of a wash. It's a bit dirty, so we can start putting some things back on it. I want to empty the cab, get the seats out so we can get all that ready, and we're just going to go through and start doing some MOT work. But first of all, I got it in here by reversing it up on the starter motor. Something I should have filmed but didn't. Reversed it up, got it in, and it's a bit tight against the wall, so I'm going to jack it up and see if I can pull it away from the wall. I think I'll take the batteries out first, they look pretty heavy. Oh, gosh! Oh, bongo! Another bongo! A Rialto. That's more my size. Right. Get all these old bits of fuel out, I'll chuck them on the bench out of the way. And then, see if we can move it. This is a problem with having lots of cars lying around. They turn into storage pods. And there's the grill. The old Metro. Yes, the Metro. Right. Phase 1 complete. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but we're going to try anyway. Like a lot of things I do on his channel, don't copy me. Not an official jacking point. Right, now that is a little bit more away from the wall, we can get all the way around it. I want to clean up the front, put the horn back in, put the grille back on to start to look like a complete car. But as you can see, it is minging. So before putting any of that back on, we definitely need to give this car a little bit of a wash. Now, easiest way to wash this, I'm going to do it in the garage, because the garage floor needs to clean anyway. I might pull it forward a little bit so it's a bit more towards the front, but I'm going to employ the Chaos Monkeys to do this. Get some warm water, a couple of pound coins, and that should be clean enough. So we're going to use the tried and tested 1 bucket sponge and scrubbing brush method to get it in all these gaps. Wow, so there you are, using chocolate fuel Chaos Monkeys, that's going to get cleaned. And I am going to get in here and get this emptied out. Let's check on the progress of the Chaos Monkeys. Oh, look, there's loads left in here. Loads and loads. Come on, get scrubbing. The other thing that needs to come out is these metal brackets. I've got proper runners to go in here to hold the seats properly, so these can just come out. They're on the longest bolts in the world. How long are these bolts? Look at that. That's empty, so I can sort the seats out. I have easy access to the wiring to sort the ignition out. Chaos Monkeys are still cleaning the front. That's all the stuff in the back. There's a hole in my bucket. Ah, that's expensive. That was free. Right, so the chaos monkeys have gone. They've done a good scrub. So I'm going to get the suds off. Just wanted to make it a bit nicer to work on, really. It's too wet and horrible outside to wash it. And the garage floor needs a good clean anyway. Right, since reversing this in on the starter motor, because the brakes on the back season up a bit, so I need to check that out. I've recharged the battery, I've fitted a carburetor, and I've plumbed that in. So the next thing to do now is, once I fit this on, is to refit a distributor. I've got one of the Chinese ones, so I'm going to put that in. I can't remember when I took the distributor out which way it's pointing, so I'm going to just chuck it in, turn it over. If it doesn't fire, I'll take the distributor back out, turn it back around 180 degrees and see what happens. So, let's get this in and connect it up. And fingers crossed this will run. It's the wrong way around. That's better. With everything else that's gone on in the garage, I lost the king lead, so I've just pinched it off LE93, so I've got that on there now. So it's 50-50 about whether this will run, based on, you know, the chances of it being 180 degrees out. And that's excluding whatever's going on with the carburetor. So, you know, I've cobbled that together at some spare bits. I've just got to connect it up, so I'm going to quickly bolt the carburetor up, and then we'll go for a start. Right, it's not fully hooked up, but I want to fire it up, see what happens. Probably nothing. I can't do this for too long, it's late, so let's just get a bit of fuel. Not even any backfiring, so probably not even sparking. Ah! So it's firing and it ran. Go get the fuel in sorted. I'm hoping it just needs, you know, a bit of fuel going through. Let's do that naughtiness again. Well, that's a Rialto running. It's not hooked up properly yet. The red. Oh, she's not too happy. It's running, but not too happy. Well, started to make a funny noise, and that's probably why. Right. Let's get that driver's side panel off and take a look at that. This is made much more fun by this carpet being fitted but not cut around the thing, so I have to rip all this out to get to the hatch. 2 more screws there, I think. Ah, great. a snap starter. I'm not even convinced it's the right starter, because that bottom bolt down there wasn't in tight, and that doesn't appear to fit in the starter ring, so I think someone has forced on a different starter or has got this in at an angle, and that's why this is now snapped. There we go. So now I've got that off. That was the right starter and it should have fitted nice, but it looks like it just wasn't done up properly, so it was in at an angle and now it's snapped. How annoying is that? Because that looks like a good new starter. I was just trying to test the starter, but of course it's not earthed there now, is it? Ah, bugger. Right, I'm giving up for the night. It is just too cold. Oh, it is cold. Look at this. Look at the frost on top of there. I should just stay in my onesie today and not come out to the garage. Because there's no heating in here. But what do we do about this? That's today's thoughts. So that starter motor snapping has kind of changed things a little bit. The plan was to get this running, get an MOT on it so we could drive around in it and then kind of start working on it to turn it into that bike engine madness after the decision on the Regal. Well, snapping that starter motor means that I've now got to spend money on it to get it to an MOT state, and that's something I don't want to do. It's a waste of resources. It's going to be coming out anyway. This engine will probably end up on the Ant or possibly in LE93 while I rebuild that engine because it's still leaking like hell. So I think it's a waste of time and money to try and get this MOT'd. So I think really what I need to do is just start tearing it down and just crack on with putting the bike engine in it. It's going to need an engineer's report anyway to make it legal on the road. So putting an MOT on it's a waste of money. Buying a new starter motor is a waste of money. And doing anything else just to get an MOT on it so I can black around in it in the short term is just a waste of money and time and effort. So it's cold. I'm not going to do any engine tinkering because my fingers are going to get too cold. So I think today I'm going to rip all that back piece out. Yeah, let's do some ripping apart. Right, seats are out and I've started pulling the carpet out. And you know, kind of tearing it apart is the right thing to do when the seats are just resting on lumps of wood. So, bodged in starter motor, bodged in seats. Let's just get this thing ripped apart and get some stuff done tidy. Oh, I've wanted to do this since day one. Really good sound insulation. Really don't blame them for doing that. That's pretty good. So this looks like inch box tubing. That's good, I need some of that. So let's just whip these bolts off. And then I'm just going to kick it through. Definitely useful. I think that will become part of the engine cradle. Now there's bolts at the back that come through here, but it's not mounted to anything in the roof, so they're just pointless. Right, so how do we get this out? I think the first tool to try to get this out is going to be brute force and ignorance. And I'll get my size 9s on here, my back against the dashboard. See if I've skipped many leg days. I don't go to the gym, so I've skipped them all. Right, keep that out the way. Oh. That's how you get that out. See what I mean about the state of the wood. Right, that's a good start. Oh, it stinks. That stinks. Oh, it stinks of damp. Oof. Yeah, it had to come out. Right, clean up on aisle 3. I mean, you can see just looking from the front, it needed a window in the back. That's much better. So now with the back open, I'm going to kind of explain a bit more what I was thinking. I'll go get the bucket seats in a minute. I'll place the bucket seats in, because I need to go down the basement anyway to put those seats away. I'll place the bucket seats in. Now, the diff actually starts about there, and it's down about 8 inches below there. Now, there's the engine there. Let's get a close up of the engine. It's not that tall an engine. So I'll be pretty much connecting it directly to the diff, which I can't really do because obviously that diff needs to move. So I've got to have some form of prop shaft or something in there to allow that to move. So I need to think about that. So my thought was that the engine is going to kind of sit here, connected to the diff with a short prop, but that's not going to work. Maybe I do need to put the different axle in, unless I do just put the engine up front and run a full diff down to it, full prop shaft. Things to consider, because obviously my main concern with the Regal was I didn't want to chop any of this up, but we don't care. But we don't care about this engine being in any shape way at all, because this thing's already chopped, If I cared about this, I'll just put a new shell on it. So I can cut as much of this out as I want and just mount the engine there sideways with a longer prop shaft. But I don't want to cut into these. As soon as you cut into these, it's a single seater, so that is still an issue. Right, some contemplating. So now we gotta get our thinking caps on. I've put the seat there. I can't get the bucket seat to the basement, it's too full. The engine is 15 inches wide and the prop starts about there, which really only gives us 5 or 6 inches between the engine and the prop, and in that distance we have to have a bit of flex because obviously this is a live axle and it bounces around everywhere. So I think putting the engine there and directly connecting it to the prop is probably not an option. Now side to side the engine is about 2 foot. So I could change it to a Regal rear axle with a chain adapter on it and just run it as a chain drive and put the engine in with the V that way. But there. There's not enough room up front without losing the passenger footwell. I'm not doing that. It's staying a 2-seater. That is a primary principle of this project. I think chain drive down to a Regal prop converted to a chain run like they do on a trike. That's the answer here. Right, I'm cracking on getting the engine out. I've stripped everything off, but I'm under here. I've got the engine jacked up. And I'm just going to take this off. Because then hopefully then, you know, learning from working on the other ones, I should be able to get access to those nuts then with the gearbox supported. And this out of the way, easy spanner access. So, and again, right, all those are now successfully off. Someone mentioned in one of the forums I could get a ring spanner on there, and with enough wiggling and jiggling and all that sort of, I did actually manage to get a ring spanner on them, and I managed to get the last one undone. The others I managed to do just hammering the little socket on them, but what a pain in the arse that job is. Well, there wasn't as much in there as I was expecting. So this is coming out the same bodge-tastic way as last time. Let's get all the tools out of the way. I'm essentially going to lower it down to start to drop off there, and then I will jack it up and lift it off the front mounts. That's not good. Right, the engine was banging against that panel, so I've moved that. So I've got it jacked up above the front mounting point, so I'm just going to give it a little push back, and hopefully it just doesn't tumble to the floor. There we are, it's on the floor. Right, I'll jack the front of this up a little bit higher and we'll drag it out. it's out. And there we are. That's the engine out. Right, the plan with that engine is I'm going to put it to one side. I'll change the seals on it. It is leaking, it needs doing, it needs good service. When I took that cap off, it looks a bit claggy, so that might actually need a head gasket doing as well. So it had to come out, even if this car goes back to standard, well, truck standard, that had to come out. So that's job done. So what's going to happen with this now is it's actually going to get pushed out to the garage. I've unseized the back brakes because they were seized, and it's going to get pushed down the back there because I've got parts coming to do the fuel system on this week, and I've got parts coming to get that sorted this week as well. So these are going to come up next while we start measuring and working out where we're going to cut on this. So that's it on the craziness for this one. The plan was just to get it MOT'd and drive around it for a bit first, but when I snapped that start motor bolt, I thought, bugger it, may as well just rip it apart and start getting on with getting the bike engine in there. So back's ripped out, that had to come out. It was bogging, it was all rotten and mouldy. So that's out, job easier, I can start measuring up there. I don't think the engine can go where I wanted it to. It might have to come down the front, but the engine's out, we can get it all measured up. So just gotta crack on now. So nice one. Take it easy, guys. See you next time.